Hello and welcome to Empower Her, the program that celebrates and supports women in Nigeria and beyond. My name is Nwachinemere and I am your host for this program. I am passionate about empowering women to achieve their full potentials because over the years, we women have been marginalized as well as underrepresented, and it is time we act up and let our voices be heard. In this program, we explore various topics that are relevant and important for women, such as leadership, entrepreneurship, education, health, and so much more. We also feature inspiring stories of women who are making a difference in their fields and, of course, in their communities as well. Our goal is to inform, inspire, and empower you, my beautiful ladies, to pursue your dreams and passions. Today, we have a very special episode for you. And of course, we'll be discussing this topic that is close to my heart: creating and sustaining a culture of mentorship and coaching among younger women. Now, mentorship and coaching are powerful tools that can help women achieve their personal and professional goals. Now, it also helps them to overcome challenges and to grow as leaders. They can also foster a sense of community, solidarity, and mutual support among women of different backgrounds, experiences, and aspirations. In this episode, we'll explore why mentorship and coaching are important for young women, and of course, how to find and connect with mentors and coaches, and what are some of the best practices and tips for making the most out of these relationships. We'll also hear from an inspiring young lady who has benefited from mentorship and coaching and even went ahead to become one herself. But before we dive into all of that, I want to invite you to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook at Spectrum NG, Twitter at Spectrum T Online, and of course our website at www.spectrumtv.ng. There, you can find many more content about women empowerment, and you can also follow me on my personal social media handles on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter at Best Nwachinemere. I am always available to hear your stories, offer comfort, or advice anytime. Now, I have a little exercise for you to do today. I want you to share with us some of the names of, even if it's only one woman, that is okay, a woman that has been a mentor or a coach to you in your life. Now, it can be anyone: a family member, a friend, a teacher, a colleague, even your boss. It can be a celebrity, of course. Now, tell us who she is and how she has helped you in your journey. You can also post your answer on our social media pages using the hashtag EMPOWHER. Of course, you can DM it to me on my personal social media pages, or you can also send me an email at bestnwachinemere60@gmail.com. We will repost what we can and keep your identity anonymous if you ask us to. So don't be shy and join the conversation. Now that we have gotten all of that out of the way, let us shine a light on 5 remarkable women who are making waves in Nigeria at the moment. Now, these women are breaking barriers, creating impact, and inspiring others with their work and achievements. Let's meet them. are the 5 women we want to spotlight today. Of course, there are so many more, and they are all amazing examples of women who are making waves in Nigeria and of course in Africa at the moment. They are also potential mentors and coaches for young women who want to follow their footsteps or carve their own paths. We salute them and celebrate them for their contributions to society. For now, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, Empower Her continues. Welcome back to Empower Her. In a world where support and guidance are invaluable, we'll explore how mentorship can shape lives. But first, let's understand why this topic is so important. Now, imagine having a trusted mentor by your side, guiding you through life's challenges. From skill building to confidence boosting, mentorship equips young women for success. But how do we bridge the gap between mentors and mentees? We'll uncover common challenges and explore practical solutions that can pave the way for meaningful connections. Now, building a culture of mentorship requires collaboration from various fronts: organizations, educational institutes, and communities. We'll talk about how these entities can foster environments that encourage mentorship. Now, in our digital age, virtual mentorship has gained momentum. We'll explore the pros and cons of this approach and learn how technology can connect mentors and mentees across distances. To truly understand the impact of mentorship, I have with me an amazing young woman who is inspiring even me. I have personally learned a lot from this amazing young woman. I have personally learned a lot from this woman, and I am so excited to have her here today on the program. For now, let's go on a short break. When we come back, I'll let her introduce herself to you. So stay tuned. I'll be right back in a minute. Welcome back to Empower Her, a special program for you and I as ladies who are determined to thrive and to excel. Remember that we are still talking about creating and sustaining a culture of mentorship and coaching among young women. I remember that I promised to let our guest introduce herself. Please help me welcome Miss Leslie Wisiwo. Hi, Leslie.
Hi. Thank you for having me on your program.
Finally, I am excited. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing great.
Thank you. Looking lovely as always. Now, I have followed you. I have entered a lot of your classes and you are amazing. But before we talk about all of that, I want you to please briefly introduce yourself to us.
No. Okay. Thank you, Best.
Thank you.
So I'm a branding and content strategist. I basically help busy professionals to become visible and attract opportunities on LinkedIn. I'm also a member of the Forbes BLK community, and I'm a LinkedIn certified marketing insider. I would say basically what I do revolves around marketing, branding, and content strategy. I have a master's degree from the Quantic School of Business and Technology, Washington, D.C., a master's in business administration, and I have a bachelor's of law degree from Rivers State University. So that's basically about me.
Yeah, you forgot to mention the part where you are always having these classes almost every month, if I remember correctly, where you teach especially young women how to brand themselves, how to make themselves visible. Now, that is the conversation I want to have. What is driving this passion for you? Not just is one thing to learn to grow for yourself, but is another thing to be so fixated on helping other people become the best version of themselves.
Okay, I do most of what I do because I believe that we all need others to grow, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing like a self-made person. When I hear people say I'm self-made, I often cringe because really, is that really possible? Um, Before you get to whatever height, someone must have contributed either guidance, advice, pointing you in the right direction, referrals, and all of that. So I do what I do because I believe that we all need each other to grow, and I'm just doing my bit to help others grow.
Okay. Now, away from that, that is actually amazing, by the way. But away from all of that, right? What do you think of coaching and mentorship, especially among younger women? What do you think of it?
It's very important. And that's because as young women, we face peculiar circumstances, even in the pursuit of our dreams and ambitions. A lot of times, as a woman, people will tell you, why are you doing the things you do? Must you do that? After all, a man will someday marry you and you're settled for life.
Yeah,
So you
right?
get certain E- Exactly. You get certain comments, you get certain, I would say, form of discouragement that if you've not seen others who have done these things that you want to do, it can be discouraging. So I
Yeah.
believe one of the reasons young women need mentorship is because they need to see others like them who have navigated some of these challenges, who have been able to do all of these things in spite of the things that would ordinarily have stopped them. So
Yeah.
young women need young mentors, need mentorship from people like them.
Okay. That is amazing. We always talk about how we women we don't really get all the support. Sometimes people don't outrightly tell you, no, don't do this. But you are doing it and they are questioning, is this really necessary? I mean, you can use this time to just get a husband, for example. Nobody, that in itself is very discouraging to move forward. Now, but what are the things you look out for when you chose your mentor? What were the things you looked out for? And what are the things you would say that these are things that are necessary for a person to look out for when they are looking out for a coach or a mentor?
Okay, so a lot of the time, especially from my personal journey, um, I don't look for mentors. Mentors get drawn to me. So there is a
Wow.
place for applying for very formal mentorship programs, and there is a place for attracting mentors. And that's because mentors are very busy people. Before
Yeah.
they invest their time to mentor you, to provide guidance, they want to know that it won't be a waste of their time, right? So when you're
Yes.
doing something valuable for yourself, you tend to attract people that would mentor you. Also, one of the things you look out for would be the alignment with where you're headed, because you can be going somewhere else and this other person is headed in a different direction. So there'll be that synergy won't be there. But when you know what you want, it's easy for you to spot people that align with your journey, people that align with your goals and your aspirations. And that way you can start following those people. So
Yeah.
values, your direction, the things you want to achieve would be some of the things that would tell you that this is the right person to mentor you.
Yeah, yes. Now, that's one thing again. Now, we have covered that for people who are looking forward to getting mentors or coaches. Now, how about the mentors and the coaches themselves? I know that you are one to quite a number of young ladies out there. So, but you as a mentor or as a coach, what do you look out for to decide, this person is worth my time? Because you've mentioned that it is time consuming for the mentor and the coach, because at the end of the day you're not really getting anything monetary, maybe just the bragging rights. Oh, I helped her become what she is. But what do you look out for to know, this person is worth my time?
First of all, the person has to be self motivated. And that's because from my experience, a lot of persons say they want mentors when in the real sense of it, it seems what they're looking out for is someone who would push them. So if a
Mm,
person is not self-motivated, it's the job becomes harder. It's
yeah.
like trying to get someone to do what they don't want to do, which makes very time consuming. It makes it very stressful. So I look out for someone who is self motivated. I look out for someone who has value for their time as well as mine. Because out of my busy schedule, if I'm giving out some part of my time to invest in someone's growth and journey, the person also has to have that value to show up on time, to be accountable. So
Yeah.
these are some of the things I look out for. Now, the person has to be personally motivated, the person has to have value for time, and the person also has to be someone who can execute, because a
Yeah.
lot of persons have access to information, access to knowledge, but the issue is often executing and putting that guidance they've gotten into practice.
Thank you. Now, I like that answer. But there are a lot of challenges that comes with this mentorship, mentor-mentee relationship. There are lots of challenges. Are there some you would like to highlight? And of course, the solutions to them.
Okay, so I think one of the challenges would be if you're not in sync with your mentor, or as someone who is both a mentee and a mentor, I would say one of the challenges would be if you're not in sync with the person, that's going to be an issue. Because if there is that misalignment, it means that whatever value, whatever guidance they give to you will not agree with you, and they also cannot help you in that light. Then I think another thing is sometimes people outgrow mentors, right?
Yeah.
And when you understand at a certain point that you've gotten the value that you could, as much as you could at that point of your journey, and you've outgrown a particular mentor, that could also be a challenge where you now have to sort of move up to a mentor that has the capacity to handle that level of your journey.
Yeah. In addition to that, I'll also talk about you guys having the same goals or the same strength. You are looking at somebody. For example, I can't just wake up and I decide, you know what, I want Genevieve Naji to be my mentor, because of course mentors don't have to be physically there with you. But as much as I admire her and she's one woman I really really look up to, and I am so amazed at what she has done, what she has been able to achieve in her life. But we are not headed in the same direction. So I really would not want to look at her and see a mentor, because we are not chasing the same goal. We are not chasing the same dream. In the same way, I can look at Oprah Winfrey and be like, yeah, now I would want this person to be my mentor. So it's also about looking out for the for someone who you guys are headed in the same direction, somebody who is doing something you are doing. Again, I also like to mention communication, because when you're not able to communicate with your mentor or with your mentee, it can go south. It can go south so fast. So about communication, and of course respect the person's boundary, and understand, like you said, the person is literally investing their time in you. You have to make them know that this whole thing is worth it. But now I want to talk about how to create supportive environments for both the mentor and the mentee. How to create supportive environments. Do you have something to say about that?
Okay, so a mentorship experience is basically a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So it means that to some extent you get into your mentor space. Your mentor also gets into your own space to
Mm-hmm.
get to know about your aspirations, some of the challenges you're having, which could be personal, you get. But overall, what would create that sort of supportive environment is if both persons are clear about the role that they have to play. So a mentor understands his or her own role in that mentorship relationship. the mentee will also understand his or her own role. So, for instance, there are certain limits a mentor wouldn't ordinarily shouldn't go. So there are boundaries. A mentor should not go beyond certain limits. The mentee too would not. There are boundaries you cannot exceed. So the fact that somebody is your mentor does not mean you now get into the person's you now
Personal
start asking the
space
mentor his or her
or
private
feeling
about his or her private life,
entitled.
sort of exceeding those boundaries. Exactly. So you also not you also, especially when it's very informal mentorship program, you're not entitled to the mentor's time that you just probably just pick up your phone, call up the mentor at any point in time, except that's the kind of relationship you've established with the mentor. But
Yeah.
overall, the mentor provides that supportive environment. The mentor dictates the tone of the relationship, sort of, to
Yes.
provide that support, that guidance, that direction that the mentee needs to become who they were meant to be.
Yes, and that is very important. But you know, there is this common thing that you notice when we are looking at mentor-mentee relationship, where the mentee will just think, because you're my mentor, it is your job to just show me the straight way. You're not coming here to like some people are not prepared for the hard work before they even want to make the commitment of being a mentee to someone or even a mentor. They just expect that because I'm a mentor, just give it to me, not teach you how to go about it, the zigzag, the rigmarole, just hit it straight to the point, show me. And it's not going to work like that. Then I look at, when I think of a mentor-mentee relationship, because I've had my own fair share of both mentors and mentee, I look at it as somebody, you have walked this path before. Imagine you have already walked this path and now I am on this path. I'm seeking your guidance. I'm seeking your advice as I'm walking through this path. You've already done a lot of things. You can tell me at best, not necessarily tell me, best, don't do this. Of course, there is also a place for that. But you can also tell me, well, I did this when I got to this point and this is the outcome I got. So maybe if you want to do it, you could try doing it this other way. So it's not a mentor's role to just hand you the fish. It is a mentor's role to show you how to fish, using the very basic analogy. But now we talked about informal, you talked about informal and formal mentorship. And there comes the role of technology, both in informal and formal mentorship. Because I know that, okay, let me just ask it, you not just assume. Do you have someone out there who you consider a mentor or a role model or a coach, even though you don't have direct access to them? If I ask you like to give me a name, somebody you don't know, maybe a celebrity or what, who would you say? I've already mentioned Oprah Winfrey because I
I
mean we are
have
in the same.
I have several mentors. I have several mentors that I have direct access to them. And I also like to consider my mom as one of my biggest mentors.
Aww.
And that's also because this is someone that I grew up seeing
Watching,
target to the
yes.
peak of her career as a civil servant and still raising great children and all of that. So I have mentors. In fact, I like to consider the people I have direct access to more as mentors, and the people that are quite distant, the likes of Michelle Obama and the rest. Like, okay, I admire them from afar. They mentor me from afar because I'm always on
Yes.
YouTube watching their videos and all of that.
Yes.
But for those I have direct access to, I have the likes of Mr. Victor Olatunde Adeoluwa. I have the likes of Olga Andrenko. These are people that I have direct access to,
Access
and I
to.
can reach out to them um, for yes, exactly, for career advice and all of that.
It's amazing how technology goes a long way in bridging the gap between mentor and mentees these days. It's wonderful to be born in an era of technology, right? Now, imagine somebody like Michelle Obama
Right.
is an indirect mentor to you, an informal mentor to you. You are not seeing her, you don't have direct access to her, but you get to watch her videos, get to watch her interviews, you get to read her posts, read her books. So these are ways that for me, technology bridges the gap between mentor and mentees. Now, you also have these other people you mentioned. You probably are not in the same city, probably do not live together, but because of, thank God, technology, you get to talk to them whenever and wherever. Do you have a personal mentorship story you like to share with us? Because I mean, we are girls, we all like gossip, and I'm ready for it.
Okay. I have lots of stories when it comes to mentorship, and I think the very first one I will talk about would be that was in January this year. So it was my very first mentorship session with Olga Andrenko. She's the VP marketing of SEMrush, a global marketing company. So what happened was the very first session we're supposed to have. Guess what? I didn't show up.
Ah, you?
I did show up, not because I didn't want to, but you know what? Those very random days that you had your day all planned out, you thought you were going
Mm-hmm.
to be home at this particular time and you'd
Mm-hmm.
be ready for your session and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the day that I was supposed to go house hunting, and the session was to be at 6 p.m. Nigerian time. She was in Spain and all of that. So, you know, the hassle of going from place to place, trying to get an apartment and
Yeah,
all of
it
that.
can be
And
quite
it's
stressful.
completely skipped. I was still at by 6 o'clock, and it's completely skipped my memory that I had a session. I was to have a session with this lady. In fact, it was when she buzzed me. That was around 6:11. She sent me a message. Hello, Lacey, what's up? You've not joined the call. That was when it occurred to me like, ha, like I've never felt so terrible in my life. The very
Oh,
first time I was getting to come on that sort of mentorship session, she's someone I admire so much, and
yeah.
I did that. But going forward, because I know the value of her time, I was so apologetic. In fact, that day I cried,
Oh,
not to her face, but after the whole experience, I went back to my friend to tell my friend, this is what happened today. I feel so terrible. I feel so disappointed in myself that I did this. But going forward, luckily she didn't hold that against me, right? Because this was a free session. It's not like I was paying her for it. And going forward, she was so gracious. She has been so helpful, helping me with my journey and all of that. And ever since then, I've never missed any mentorship
any
session.
session.
I'm always on time because I don't want
A
exactly, I don't
repeat
want that experience to repeat
performance.
itself. And exactly, which takes us back to having value for the mentor's time, right? Because
Mm,
their time is really valuable to them, and you don't want to
yeah.
play with that.
Yeah, you want to be worth the effort and the time. I also have my own personal story about mentorship. There's this woman, she edited my book, and from our first conversation, I knew that this woman is going to be my friend. But this is not something that will just happen. I've always been very deliberate about people I, I welcome into my circle as friends. So I started with, I never miss any of her posts, and I don't just randomly like or randomly comment. I'll read to understand, because it wasn't just about her, it was about the value that she was giving, all which came from her mind. So that literally meant that I ate up everything she had to give. Especially since it seemed as if, this woman and me, we are so aligned. Am I looking at my future self when I'm seeing this woman? So anytime she go, did she reach into my mind? How did she get into my head to know what I was thinking? So I was very deliberate. I would talk to her. In fact, when I don't see her post in a stretch, when I know that by this time I should have seen her post, I'll reach out. Hi ma, are you okay? How are you doing? So we go talking in my journey, trying to build myself as an editor, because that was what I was doing at the time. She would talk to me. She said, "Oh, I have this resource for you." She will share links. I'll talk to her when I'm having challenges. I'll be, how do I navigate this? Oh, I'm thinking of pricing. How do I navigate this? Guess what? We started like that. She didn't know when she started coaching me, mentoring me. In fact, the roles reversed. When she stays a particular period and she doesn't hear from me or doesn't read from me, she'll reach out. Hi, Best. I've not seen you in a while. I hope everything is okay. So at the end of the day, we even went past the relationship of coach and coachee, mentor mentee. Because remember how when you talked about outgrowing your mentor. I wouldn't say that I outgrew her, but I outgrew what she was teaching me. But then what happened? We became friends. Now we are very good friends. And yeah, mission accomplished, girl. I wanted her to be my friend, and she's exactly where I want her to be. So now this is to you out there. You have to be deliberate about this.
Okay, please, can I clarify something?
Yes, please.
Okay, so when I say outgrow your mentor, right, I don't mean like you succeed more than them. No, what I
Yeah.
mean is for your needs,
Your needs
because
at the
everyone's
time.
journey is unique, right? What I need
Yes.
at this point, or at this point of my journey, probably the person is not the
That
best person
guidance,
to help
yes.
me at this stage of my journey. Exactly.
You've
So
already
that's what I mean. So it's in terms of
outscaled.
needs.
Yes, yes, I understood that.
Exactly,
Yeah, I understood
exactly.
that. So that's what happened. And now to you out there, you know that this it's okay if you want to learn from a distance, but if this is somebody you can actually have access to, don't just enter into the person's inbox, because we are not, now we're talking about the role of technology in mentorship. Don't just barge into the person's inbox. Make them know that you are worth it. You can start by engaging them, talking to them, and when you are doing it, please be deliberate. Sis. This is the world, and we cannot afford to lose guard. You get? So now, why is mentorship particularly important for young women as they navigate their personal and professional journeys?
Okay, mentorship is very, very important because we need the guidance, right? We need the skills, and because mentors have gone ahead, they can see the things you need from their experience, their insights. They can see that, okay, this is something you would want to avoid. They can point you in the right direction. And generally, you can draw insights from that expertise they have that you don't have. So mentorship is really important for young women.
So you know that in some culture, there's this thing they do when a young boy, when a young man grows to a certain age, they just give you a mentor. Like some call it serving. They just give you a mentor. So men already have this
Or
advantage.
apprenticeship.
Yes, but we need to catch up. So now we have to be the one to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to give myself this advantage that our other gender they have. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a mentor. So it is important. There are a lot of reasons why you have to get a mentor. This person, like Leslie said, has already gone ahead of you. They already have more experience than you do. They can point you in the right direction. So you don't just go ahead and you are wondering. You don't have to do try and fail every time. Not that it's bad, but why not use the shortcuts? I mean, it's available to you. Now, I want to talk about some of the effective ways
Exactly.
to find suitable mentors, and of course to initiate a mentorship relationship. Because like I told you how one of these worked for me, I started engaging, started reaching out, started engaging and reaching out to her, and that was how we breached that gap. But what are some of the other effective ways you can tell us that one can use to find suitable mentors and to initiate a mentorship relationship?
Okay, so there are three ways that you can find a suitable mentor.
Okay.
And these three ways I've explored all of them. And the first one is attracting a mentor. So when you're a person of value, you're becoming valuable and all of that. It also means that you're going to be in an environment where people that you can they can easily mentor you. You're going to find those people and they are going to be drawn to you. And most times it's going to just start organically, informally, and you found yourself a mentor. Secondly, would be when you've identified people that you want them to mentor you, you can position yourself around them. And if they have books, you buy their books.
Like I
If they
did.
have events, you attend. Exactly, you attend their events. If they have programs, you volunteer, you serve, because mentorship is a relationship, right? You two have to be giving
Yes.
back something. You serve, you just generally ensure that you're in their radar so that the mentorship relationship can start from there. And the third
Yeah.
one, which is more of the formal one, is the one where you find someone that is taking up some mentorship slots, right? You want, this person wants to mentor some people, and you apply for it and you get it. So you either attract a mentor, you position yourself around the mentor and you serve, or you apply to be mentored
Directly
by
as a
someone.
mentor.
So these are the two ways.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, let's take a breather here. And at this point, we'll also take a short break. When we come back, of course, Empower Her continues. Welcome back to Empower Her, the program designed for you as a woman who is ready to take up your power and position in life and in society. And of course, today we have been talking about choosing and maintaining a culture of mentorship and coaching among younger women. And with me, we have Leslie Nwasibo, and we have been having an amazing conversation. So Leslie, I've been wanting to ask, how do you balance your own professional and personal goals with the needs and expectations of your mentees and coaches?
Okay, so one of the things I do is that I don't take on more than I can handle,
Okay.
and that's because we all have limited time, right? 24 hours each day, and there is a limit to what I can do as a person,
Yeah.
and that's why most of the time I don't take on one-on-one mentoring sessions. A lot of the time I
Okay.
prefer to do group coaching. I prefer to do classes and trainings because it's more effective for me and also helping me to reach more people at the same time. So it's
Yeah.
just a few that I get to do that one-on-one. However, my my DMs are always open. People have that access where once they need something or they are stuck or they have questions, they send me questions and I respond to them. So that's how I'm able to ensure that I still balance the other aspects of my life without the mentoring taking so much out of it.
Mostly do group mentorship and coaching session, but how then do you figure out and address specific needs of specific mentees or coaches?
Okay, so a lot of what I do revolves around my profession, which is the content marketing side of me. So my mentoring is not usually around people's personal lives, although there are a few people that I get to interact with and guide them in the course of their journey. But most of what I do when it comes to group coaching revolves around content marketing, personal branding. So that way it's easier for me to do it across the board in a group, right? But for the personalized ones, these are the very few people that I can jump on a virtual meeting with to talk face to face with them. What are the challenges you are having? What's going on? And see how I can help using my expertise, my experience, and everything that I have I've gone through in the course of my journey as a person.
Now, so how do you measure the impact and effectiveness of your mentoring and coaching relationships?
Okay, so first of all, it depends on each person's journey, right?
Yeah.
So if they have a specific goal in mind, the whole essence of what we do to help them achieve that goal, see how we can map out a plan for the person to achieve that goal. Let's say, for instance, somebody is not satisfied with where they currently are in terms of their income level. They want to move to the next point. We try to work around what can you do, what skills do you have, and all of that. So we map out a plan that is sort of personalized to the person, and when that person is able to hit that goal, of course it has to start with having a specific goal, right? When the person is able to
Yes.
hit that goal, we can say, okay, we've this is success in this area. We've measured, these are the metrics that we use to measure success for this particular person. So depending on each person, the impact, the way we measure success would be different based on their various goals.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. And now that brings me to my next question for you. Let's say, you know, one time, two times, we all have that student who they have their own opinion. So then, how do you handle feedback and criticism from your mentees or coaches rather?
I don't think I've really had those very,
Experience, okay,
I would say, full-blown issue with a mentee before.
okay,
But what I have had would be cases where you gave someone a task, right? To say, okay, this is the challenge you're having. This is what you can do. Start, do this first, and come back to me to report that you've done this, and we can take it from there. And most times, what I see is that they don't show up again because they didn't do the work, right? And
yeah,
after a while, you reach out to say, "What's up? I didn't hear from you," and all of that, and the person is not forthcoming because, like I said, the person is not self-motivated, and you
yeah.
just let the person be. But I've never had that kind of experience where I have to have like some sort of disagreement with a mentee or someone that I
You are
coached over something.
coaching, yeah. But then, how do you deal with the conflict and disagreements that may arise in your mentoring or coaching relationships? Now, even outside the workload that you give to them, the assignments that you give to them, when you get to a point where you have conflict, you disagree on something, how do you resolve it? Because some people might want to say, no, it is, I am your coach, I'm your mentor, it's my way or the highway.
Okay, so I think the first thing would be understanding that there are boundaries, right? You're not this
Yes.
person's mother. You're not this person's
Mm-hmm.
spouse.
And most
So there
times
is
the
a
person is
limit
even
to
an
what you can
adult.
do. There is a limit to what you can do. So you can't sort of enforce certain things to say, to insist that this person must do this. This is the task I gave you and you must do it. At best, what you can do is advise. At best, what you can do is point the person in the right
Encourage.
direction.
Yeah.
If the person is not willing to do it, I don't think that you have that power to do beyond that. You leave the person to, you know, just get to pan out that experience. So it's just a matter of understanding where my boundaries are and not being overbearing and pushing beyond my limits. So even when people don't probably follow up with a task or they don't follow up with what we discussed, it's not in my place to even nag to say, you didn't do this, this is so wrong, and all of that. I can only advise, right? The person
Yeah.
can only take it or decide not to take it. So basically, there is nothing I can do in that regard. I
Okay.
just let it be.
Okay. How do you foster a culture of trust, respect, and collaboration among your mentees and coaches? And this is why I ask. You said that you always do these coaching sessions in a group or for a group of people. So you have to get them to collaborate and work together at some point, and also to have respect for you as their coach and their mentor. So how do you foster this culture of trust that will in turn breed respect and foster collaboration, encourage collaboration?
So first of all, I always keep the lines open. I tell them that you can always reach out to me privately if you need to talk about something, if you have a suggestion, if you think that there is something that I can improve on in terms of how the class, the session is being handled. And another thing is um, I maintain confidentiality because, I mean, so I said the first thing is I keep the communication lines open so they know that they can always reach me if they have any concerns. They can send me a message and I would respond and we handle the issue. And secondly, I also maintain confidentiality because when you have some sort of influence over people, when people look up to you, they reach out to you and sometimes they confide in you about very personal stuff. And it would be wrong for for what they told you in confidence to get out, right?
Yes.
So I ensure that whatever it takes, whatever they discuss with me does not get out, someone else won't get to hear that. I won't even use it as an
Against the
illustration to
person.
tell someone that somebody that I know is going through this and all of that. So that also builds trust. That also ensures that they can reach out to me, they can tell me about things, and we figure a way around it, right? Now, in
Yeah.
a more professional setting, that's the coaching part. So how I ensure that there is collaboration. Sometimes the tasks I give them, I had this a month coaching session for people who wanted to become more visible on LinkedIn. And I gave them tasks. Some of the tasks was for them to engage with each other. Some of the tasks ensure that they collaborated with each other, they will come together, create content together, some
Yeah.
things that will get them to pair up as a team. They had accountability partners where each person will reach out to the other person to know what's going on with you. I've not seen any activity from your end and all of that. So these are strategies I use to ensure that I build trust, to ensure that there is that effective collaboration among the people that I get to mentor and coach.
As was not always how do you build trust and respect. Now, how about celebration? How do you celebrate the achievements and successes of your mentees or coaches?
Okay, so I haven't done so much of very public celebrations for most of my mentees, but I think probably I should be doing that more often, right? But what I do is I genuinely celebrate them. I go inbox, I encourage them, I tell them great words. I'm very good with motivating people, encouraging them, and all of that. And a lot of times too, I still share, although not so much, um, but I still share, here and there and all of that. So that's what I celebrate the people I work with. I say the right words to them because I know how powerful words are.
Words,
And
yes.
when negative words goes out to people, it affects them. The same way I'm intentional about saying the right words that will motivate them. Um, sometimes you see some things and it might look like it's not a big deal to you, but to these people it's a
It's a
big
huge
deal
deal,
because it's the
yes.
little steps, right? So you have to acknowledge all of that effort that went into that process, and not maybe from my own standpoint say it's not a big deal, or yes, I know they can do better, but I still try to encourage them, celebrate them, and acknowledge all the effort and time that went into that, what would seem like a little step for them.
Yeah, and even if you don't realize this is also a way of fostering that trust that we are talking about. But then, how about the failures? We've talked about the positive part of it. But then, how do you cope with failures and setbacks of your coaches or mentees?
Okay, so one of the first things I do is I try to understand them when they come to me with probably an unpleasant situation, because you might think you know what the person is facing. But if you really don't listen, you realize that if you listen properly, you realize that it's probably completely different from what you were thinking. So the first thing I do is to listen to understand, and then I see how to profile solutions to it, right? Because I mean, some of the issues people come to you with are very diverse. For some people it's very professional, it's relating to their career, but sometimes people come to you with other struggles they are going through that
Yeah.
it's not even related to what I do and all of that. But still, I have to be empathetic, I have to show concern, I have
Yeah.
to, if there are cases where I can point the person in the right direction, okay, I'm not the right person to handle this thing because it's completely out of my area
Your
of expertise,
range.
but this is somebody I think would, because of this person's line of work, this person will be best to handle this issue, reach out to this person. And sometimes I even reach out to those persons on their behalf to say, okay, this person will be reaching out to you, please attend to the person and help the person in the best way you can, using my own interactions with the person, the relationship I've built with that person over the years, and to say, okay, I'm referring someone to you, please assist the person. So that's how I handle some of those situations.
Okay, I was going to ask you what you do when when you come to a point where you know that, okay, what your mentee or your coach need is outside of your range. But I'm glad to hear that you don't feel any type of way referring them to some other person who you know that they're in a better position to help your mentee or your coach more than you do. Are there other myths and or misconceptions that people have about mentoring and coaching, especially for younger women, that you would like to demystify for us?
Okay, I think one of them would be the fact that, first of all, people confuse coaching and mentoring, right?
Yes.
And that's because mentoring is sort of, I would say, very informal, where someone looks up to you, right? The person knows they
Yes.
can always access you when they need um, when they need guidance in certain areas. But coaching is more or less more targeted, right? A lot
Yeah.
of times coaching can be a short term project. As a personal branding and content strategist, part of what I do is coaching for people who want to be visible, right? People want to build their personal brand.
Yes.
And those ones are coaching sessions because the person is paying for my time and my expertise. The person comes on a virtual meeting, we meet, we talk for a certain number of hours, and those hours are billable. I get to put the person through on how to achieve that goal that they want to achieve, which is building visibility,
Yeah.
building their personal brand, using LinkedIn to attract opportunities and all of that.
There are some skills I feel that are relevant, are important for you to have, to even give you the confidence to approach someone and say, hi, ma'am, I would like to be mentored by you. What skills do you think are that essential for women to build?
I would say the ability to just speak up, even though I usually don't recommend that route where you just walk up to someone and say, please, I would like you to mentor me. But if you're going to reach out to someone to do that, that means, first of all, you have to know in very clear terms, what this person will do for you, how this person will be able to help you. Because if you don't have clarity as to how the role this person can play in your life and your journey, you're going to get a lot of things wrong, right? You're going
Yeah.
to have expectations that won't be met and all of that. And then there has to also be that alignment that uh, the fact that you're meeting this person, if this person is a very successful person, does not mean automatically by working with this person, you're going to be
Yeah.
as
Successful
successful
as
as this
they
person,
are.
because I mean, it's a journey, right? Exactly. So I would say confidence, I would say be clear on what you expect, and also learn to manage your expectation.
Yeah, thank you. That is amazing. Now, how can communities, what are the roles that communities and organizations play, like to foster a culture of mentorship and coaching among young women? Because talks about basically a personal approach to it, but how can communities and organizations contribute to fostering a culture of mentorship and coaching?
Okay, so one way that organizations can do that is to have an internal mentoring process. So when you have, especially now that every organization is trying to embrace inclusion, right? So having
Yeah.
that internal mentoring system where when people come into the organization, rather than just throwing them into the organization and expect them to find their foot, right? Organizations can have that internal process where um, people who are just coming on board get access to a mentor. So they understand that your role is to actually ensure that this person find their foot and hit the ground running in this
Yeah.
organization. Also,
Yes.
communities and other organizations that can also, provide this opportunity for young women to get access to mentorship. Organizations like WIMBIs are already doing all of that, where they bring experts to sort of mentor young women.
Okay, thank you so much, Leslie. It has been a pleasure speaking to you today on Empower Her. Do you have any form of advice for young women out there who are looking to become a mentee or even to become a mentor themselves?
Okay, I would say if you want to be a mentor, you have to first become valuable and invest in your personal growth, because mentorship is more of giving, right?
Yeah.
You're giving value. So if you don't have value, I mean, how do you even give what you don't have, right?
Yes.
Then for mentees, I think a lot of times we focus on people being mentors, and we don't focus on how to be a good mentee. Because if you're a
Yes.
good mentee, you're going to apply yourself, you're going to be self-motivated, you're going to do the work to ensure that that mentor is not wasting his
Their
or her
time on
time. So
you.
that's basically exactly.
Thank you so much, Leslie. And of course, I'm looking forward to having you again on the program next time. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And that is all for today, ladies. Thank you for watching Empower Her, the program that celebrates and supports women in Nigeria and beyond. I'm your host, Bess Nwachinemere, signing off until next time. Stay empowered and keep empowering others. Bye for now.